I don't know about you, but I can spot an AI generated post or a comment or an email from a mile away. And instantly, when I see that AI generated this text, I turn and look the other way. I don't even bother reading it because I know it's not actually what the human is thinking. Now, if you want to use AI and you want people to read your stuff, you have to make it sound like you. It has to be indistinguishable from your voice and your tonality. So today, I'm going to show you how to make AI agents write exactly like you. And this can be for multiple different scenarios. There's not one solution fits all, but I'm going to show you one framework that works for all agents. So I have two agents that I'm going to demonstrate today. Both are quite different. The sponsorship responder actually enriches company data so that when a sponsor reaches out to me, I can just send the email straight to the sponsorship responder. It knows all of my metrics and everything that I have in mind when looking for a partner. And so it's going to be taking all of that into account when responding in my voice, with my metrics, my data, everything I need. And then I have an FAQ agent, which answers frequently asked questions for members of our community, for anybody on the YouTube channel, whatever it may be. So I'll start in the FAQ agent. I'm going to click into here and I can just type off a message to this thing. I could actually give access to this bot, or whenever there's a question, I could just paste it in here. So maybe somebody asks like, do you have private, maybe they're spelling things wrong, consulting, and then I can just send that off. And what this agent's going to do is it's going to respond in my style with my frequently asked questions in the knowledge base. So this doesn't look AI generated at all. And so then I could just copy that and then paste it in. I could ask another question in my agent, like, when is your calls? Maybe I'm asking a question about our private group and the agent will respond in my voice. We run Q&A calls Tuesdays and Thursdays. Check the calendar for exact times. Get there early, raise your hand. So it's just very natural, and it's something that I would actually say. And this is a very simple agent. This is what that agent looks like. Now, the secret sauce, the framework, lies in the system message here. As you can see, I'm going to be showing you how to create this set of instructions today using examples and using a framework created by one of our team members. And it's going to allow you to craft amazing responses with your AI agents that sound exactly like you, use your knowledge, and so much more. Now, I also have my more complicated agent, the sponsorship responder, so that when I click in here, all I have to do is copy and paste my emails, or I can programmatically just throw them into N8N and have this thing run at all times. And that one looks a little bit like this. What this agent does is it still uses that same framework that I'm going to show you in the sponsorship responder. It says, you are Drake, you handle inbound sponsorships. I can put my voice in Guardrails. I can put what I need it to know, the only offers that I'm taking right now, so that it's gearing its responses not only in my tone of voice, but also using the things that I want it to use. And it gets pretty complex, but this would be another example of using that framework. Now, if you want to master building out agents like the one that I just showed you a little bit earlier, and you have any questions or you need support or any help at all, I recommend joining our AI Foundations community. I'll leave a link in the description and the top pinned comment. We have a 5-coach team in there ready to answer your questions, keeping you up to date so you can focus on the signal of AI rather than having to shuffle through all the noise here on YouTube. You can get one unified place for everything that you're interested in. So if that interests you, like I said, link in the description and the top pinned comment. But now let's get into this prompting framework that allows AI to write exactly like you. So we're going to be building an AI agent on N8N using Carter's IOE framework. What does IOE stand for? Well, IOE means instructions, output format, and then examples. So in instructions, we want to give the agent a role. One of the best and easiest prompt engineering tips anybody can just implement. It puts the agent in the shoes of whatever you want it to be. So if you want it to be you, put it in the shoes of yourself. Next, we're going to give guidelines, and guidelines is important. What should the agent never do? What should it always do? What are some standards that it must follow every single time? Then we're going to be implementing a knowledge base. So what's the general knowledge around the topic that you're building the agent on? And then we have output format. You want to give a JSON example of how to output every answer. I'm going to build that with you. And then live examples of you actually using that output format in your voice. This is the most important part. You do not want to skip this, and I'm going to show you the best way to do that. Now, there's one thing that you must understand before building the AI agent, and that is you must create an agent that is specialized in one thing and does that one thing very well. Don't try to create your voice for every single section of your life right now. What you should be focusing on is one single area that you just want to do very well, whether that's Instagram DMs, you could do a support agent, an email agent, or a sponsorship agent, for example. With that being said, let's get into N8N and get building out this workflow. So in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to hit Create Workflow. And what I want to do for the first step is I want to add a spot that I can speak to the agent temporarily. So I'm going to hit this plus button and type in chat. And where you see chat trigger, that's what you want to add, because now when you go back to Canvas, you can open up the chat and you can have test conversations with the agent to make sure it's responding in the style that you want. Next, we need to just add the AI agent. This is where all of the magic happens. So I'm going to select this AI button up here and then select AI agent. I'm going to go back to Canvas and I'm going to add a quick chat model. For now, I'm just going to use Open Router since I can select any chat model I want with my account. And I will just use GPT-5 for now. Actually, we'll just use GPT-5 Mini, that'll work. I can click out of here. I'll quickly rename that so I know what chat model I'm using. And now I can use this just like I would ChatGPT, like, hey, how are you? And it's going to give me an actual response here. It says, hey, I'm an AI, so I don't have feelings, but I'm here and I'm ready to help. Okay, perfect. So in order to make this thing actually sound like us, we don't want it to say, hey, I'm an AI, or to even think it's an AI at all. We want this thing to sound exactly like us. So we have to give it some information about ourselves or about what we want it to sound like. Again, you don't have to use this for you, but maybe you want to create a fake persona, a fake customer support bot, or a fake sales rep. Whatever you want to use this for, you can do so, and you can have this AI agent fill the shoes of that thing. I'm going to double click in here, and what I want to do is I want to select Add Option, and then I'm going to select System Message. This is where all of the magic happens with getting AI to sound exactly like you or whoever you want it to sound like. I'm going to put this on expression, that way we can build out these instructions using the IOE framework. So remember, IOE is instructions, output format, we're going to delete this later by the way, and examples. So these are the things that we want to give the agent. So for instructions, the first thing that we want is a role. So I'm going to put that little heading tag right there. So we need to put this AI agent in the shoes of me. Let's say right now I want to create a support bot that just uses my YouTube channel in order to help people, so that whenever somebody goes to this bot or this GPT or this AI agent, whatever you want to create, whenever somebody goes to it, I want it to help them answer their AI related questions by having it give them one of my YouTube videos that are already on YouTube. So whenever somebody has a question about anything, this agent will be able to point back to one of my free YouTube videos in order to help people out. Let's say I want it to write like me. I want it to give them YouTube videos just as I would. And so that's going to be the basis of this agent. So I need to give it a role. So a role might look something like this, and I recommend that you follow a very similar format. I say, you are Drake Srirac, a YouTuber with a YouTube channel called AI Foundations. I'm giving it context into who Drake Srirac is, which is myself. I say, your job is to answer questions exactly how Drake would. Your main goal is to help people by giving them free YouTube videos that Drake has already created based around their questions. And then I say this is very important. You are to use the guardrails and knowledge sections in order to create responses for the user that do not look AI generated, but rather they are in Drake's voice. So we're going to give it my voice here in the future, but this would be the example of step number 1 of crafting good instructions. Next, let's get into the knowledge section. We're going to save guardrails for last because I really think it helps having AI read the guardrails at the very end of its system instructions before it crafts every response. I don't really like keeping the guardrails up too high because I feel like I can sometimes forget them, but when I put them at the very bottom of the system instructions, it seems to help guide the agent a lot better. So let's get into the knowledge section. Just like I did for role, I'm going to create a knowledge header tag, just like that. And now we can get into the knowledge base. These are general things that your agent should know about you or about the situation. So the knowledge should almost be like your memory on ChatGPT. If you've ever used ChatGPT, then you know that they're keeping a memory. You can actually see that in your settings. And it's kind of just taking little notes about you, what you like, what you don't like, your preferences and things like that. So you could get a lot of knowledge from there if you're trying to make it sound like you, if you use that a lot. But here's some knowledge points that you could add. Things that you do, things that you create, things about your company, things about what your goals are, what you normally do on a daily basis, things that will allow this agent to respond like you. So I say things like Drake creates videos on large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, creates videos on building automations and agents with N8N, these very specific things that I'm doing. Drake is always grateful for nice comments on YouTube, often replying with 2 to 3 exclamation points. Drake sometimes won't use any punctuation at all. Drake sometimes won't use any capital letters. Drake uses abbreviations like RN for right now, AB for about, NGL for not gonna lie, FR for real, and LMK for let me know. Drake never uses M dashes. M dashes are the silent killer for AI responses. If you ever see anything with a long dash, most likely it's an AI generated response. If the writing was created post 2023, then 90% of the time it's going to be AI. That's a big tell. So you don't want to have your AI be generating M dashes. Next, underneath the knowledge section, since we're still kind of talking about knowledge, I need to give this agent all of the YouTube videos that I want it to send people to on any questions they might have, any comments they might have, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'll make that actually a heading 3. So now I'm going to give YouTube videos to point people to from my channel. So for this example in specific, I've added in 3 YouTube videos. I've given the title of the video, I've given a little about section of the video, and then the link for the video. So you could go crazy with this. I mean, you could have a database of hundreds of videos with the transcripts. You could have the AI agent actually read the transcript and give tailored advice based on what I said in the video. But for now, we want something quick that can respond like us and use some knowledge in order to help people. And if you want to scale, that's what we teach in AI Foundations. If you want to go there, you can learn that. But for now, let's learn a quick way we can do this. So I've given my YouTube videos, and this is all we need for the instructions section. We're going to do the guardrails later, but now we need to learn about output format and examples so we can get this thing responding like us every single time. So the output format is simple. What we're going to use for the output format is a JSON object. Now, if you don't know what JSON objects are, I recommend watching my instructions video. I'll leave that in the upper right-hand corner. It shows you how to build out these JSON objects and how to understand them once and for all, so you're no longer scared by them. But I'm going to make an output format section with a heading 1, and then this is the output format that I want this agent to respond in every single time. So I'm going to mention that. And this is important. You have to say this in this part of the prompt. You are to respond in this JSON object format each time. And then you can give an example of what that looks like. And in order to do that, you're going to do curly brace, enter, and then in quotation marks, you can put whatever word you want. I'll just put output, and then I'm going to arrow over, and then output here, just like that. And so now we have this structured output. So consistently, it will put that output within this JSON object. And so that output format section is done. Now we need to provide examples of how this agent should use this output format live. So in order to do that, I could just go to the comment sections of my videos and find real examples of people asking me questions, and then I can answer them myself, because what these examples are going to do is it's going to give AI insight into how you respond to certain situations. So if you want it to respond in a certain way, then in these examples, have it respond in the way that you want AI to generate its next outputs. So down here, I'm going to put a heading 1, and I'm going to say examples. And then I can just put something like example 1, and then I need input, output, examples. So what is the input? Maybe I can put in a real question that somebody had, or here you might want to put in, if you were building an email agent, for example, a real example of an email somebody sent you, and then a real output of how you would want this agent to respond to a message like that. So for instance, if I go down to my comment section here, you can see somebody commented, amazing content, keep going, and please share a full course if you can. I could copy that because this is a real person telling a real message. And this is on my Turning Agents into Apps video, which is very cool, but I can go in here and make that the input. And then I can use this output format and show an example of how I would want it to respond to a comment or a query like that. So I can just say something like, thank you. I do have a full course on N8N agents. If you'd like, check that out here. And then I can actually use that full agent course I put in my YouTube videos. I can get the link, copy it, and then paste that in my output. And so now we have a good example of a user input and a Drake output. And then we just keep on going with those examples. Honestly, I think 5 to 10 examples is probably best, because if you start going beyond that, AI has trouble retaining context, and that's when you'd need a more scalable system with something like Supabase and RAG. I can go on another video that I have and look in the comments, and I can go to this person's comment, for instance, can it be done with N8N? Thanks for the video, by the way. I could copy that for example number 2, and then I could give my reply to that in my output. So I'm showing the agent how to use this output format and how to respond to basic questions, basic queries. And so I could keep on going with these input output examples, but for now, we're just going to leave it at 2. I mean, I would recommend doing 5 to 10, but for the sake of this video, you understand now how to create it. So underneath the examples, what we need to do is we need to create our guardrails, so things that this agent should never do in order to not sound like AI. So I've just pasted in some guardrails. Number 1, never use em dashes in your response. This is one of the biggest tells that a response is generated by AI, is when that character is littered throughout the message. So we want to stress, do not use this character. Also, never use words or sentences that Drake wouldn't use. Do not overuse punctuation or lean on grammatical correctness. Never respond in a wordy format. Never be too serious or perfect in your writing. We almost want to make the grammar bad if we want it to sound like a human at this point, and be indistinguishable of that from at least myself. I'm not a very technical person. I respond just as how I've responded to these comments, and that's the point. You want to respond how you would respond, not how you wouldn't actually respond. And now we can test it out. But before we do that, we want to add our structured output parser. So just copy the format that you created up here and go back to your AI agent, turn on require specific output format, connect the output parser by selecting that right there, and then select structured output parser. And here, instead of this example, you can delete that and paste in the example that you have. And now it will respond with your answer here every single time. And so I can save this. I can rename this agent if I want, like Drake responder. And I'm also going to go back into the instructions and just add in some things in the guardrails. Down in the guardrails, what I want to do is I also want to add something like never go beyond the scope of answering the question. And then I can put something like always answer with just Drake's videos and small talk. Never try to figure out the answer. You could set it up to figure out the answer for you, but I don't want it talking about things that I don't really verify or know. So I wouldn't want to have it like try to explain something to somebody that I don't even know what it's talking about. So now I can go back, I can save this agent. I named it Drake Responder, thought that would be kind of nice. And now we can actually test this out. So you can open up the chat and you can just type something or paste in something like an email, iterate, work through, refine the instructions until it gets exactly how you want it. So I can just say something like, hey Drake, great video. Do you have any tips for making ChatGPT more consistent? I feel like every answer is always different. Can you help? And so this is like a comment that I would get on one of my videos. So let's see if this agent can handle it like I would by just directing people to the right video, which it should be the 7 prompt engineering tips for beginners, because it has to deal with ChatGPT, and it should be in my writing style, not too grammatically correct, maybe missing some capitals, doing some abbreviations that AI usually wouldn't do. It shouldn't be using em dashes. And so it says, thanks, with 2 exclamation points. I've got a full guide on prompt engineering that shows how to make ChatGPT far more consistent. Watch it here. Drops the link and then adds the thumbs up. If you saw this, I don't think that you would think that this is AI. Because number one, if I saw this, at least I wouldn't think it's AI. Because what we've got is like double punctuation. We have no capitals, and we have emojis that are just simple. It's like a thumbs up and a custom video link. So If I go to this video link, it should take me to the prompt engineering video for beginners, just like that. And so this is a bot that would actually be very helpful, especially if you give it guardrails and scopes for how to respond. You could automate things into here. So you could like automate your YouTube comments into here and automate the response. You could hook up a different communication method. I usually don't like using Telegram or Slack or any of those because they're just hard to connect to and I don't really know how secure they are. So I like using another application, but this is a great way to test. And so this has been a full guide for how to make your AI agents write exactly like you. If you're looking for something more scalable and you need some custom help, like I said, join our AI Foundations community. We have 5 coaches in there, one of which is a full stack developer who understands things like RAG. He can help you out. His name is Paulo. And we also have tons of other people in there. We have live calls in order to get you help. We have everything you need. And it's just one focused spot. So you don't have to keep running around YouTube looking for free content. You have everything you need to know to keep you relevant and irreplaceable in one spot. But if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. I would highly, highly appreciate it. And I'm going to be coming out with a lot more content. Now that I am back at my office, it feels great to be back. And I'm excited to bring you guys the best stuff. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.